This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Monday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you, coming off a big weekend. 7-4. We're going to go over those picks coming up in just a little bit. Got Monday Night Football, Eagles-Packers tonight from Lambeau Field. Kind of a big one in the NFC, so looking forward to that. Also some NBA and college basketball to get to. So, Lee, without further ado, let's get right to tonight's NBA Blowout Special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Playoff rematch, we could say, from last year, where the Cavaliers just ripped up the Heat in the first round. With the final game, they won by 50, 60 points, whatever it was, to knock the Heat out of the playoffs. But Miami scoring at will, it feels like this season, just these crazy, you're getting 50 points a quarter, just a little nutty there with the Heat. But the Cavaliers, they played very well out of the gate. Cavs in Miami to take on the Heat tonight. The Cavs are favored. Lee, what do you like here with this Eastern Conference showdown?
Well, the Miami Heat is one of the storylines right now and the surprises in the NBA. And most people haven't noticed. You and I are both down here. 6-4 record, but 6 of those games were on the road and scoring, like I said, at will. Looks like a totally different team, even without Tyler Hero. And then the last 2 games, even without Bam Adebayo. So this team, going through a metamorphosis here and looks really good. Also 7-3 against the spread and could have covered, I think, all 10 of them. They had some late things happen, like the last 30 seconds or a minute of every game. They could be 9-1, 10-0 against the spread. But, big but, they're running into their nemesis. They do not match up at all with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Even with Bam out there and who's going to miss tonight, just horrible matchups. Everything that Miami can do, Cleveland can do better. They want to play up-tempo, Cleveland can play up-tempo. I think they're going to control the absolute boards here. And I like what Miami's done. Give Spo credit, but probably also distracted after, unfortunately, had a fire at his house. We don't know the cause yet, but probably very distracted here. And like I said, they have a tough schedule. Next 5 games, I think they have Cleveland twice, the Knicks twice, and someone else. It's going to be rough here on the Heat. And the opening game here with 2-game set Monday and Wednesday night, I'm going Cavs here. You're thinking, 7.5 points at home, I'll take the Heat. Don't fall for the trap. Cleveland Cavaliers lay the 7.5 blowout special to start the week.
And we'll see if Cleveland can stay on fire. They had a little bit of issue earlier when Donovan Mitchell missed that game at Boston with an injury, but they've gotten back on track, Cleveland, and playing as looking like one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, shifting over to college basketball, really good matchup tonight in Ames, Iowa. It's Mississippi State and Iowa State.
Oh, it's actually in South Dakota. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Yeah. That's why you have to read closely. It might say home. Yeah, they're the so-called home team. But, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the haven for basketball.
I'm allowed 1 strike on the show. I'm usually good with all of this. I'm allowed the 1 strike, so we'll see. So with that being said, let's look at Mississippi State and Iowa State, this neutral site matchup. And it's time now for our, wrong team favorite? Yep, wrong team favorite.
What the fuck?
WTF.
Bulldogs and the Cyclones, they are hooking up tonight, and Mississippi State, we always see them as a tough team in this really good SEC, taking on Iowa State. Again, another team in the Big 12 that is competing for the title every single year. So, Lee, what do you like in this matchup with the Bulldogs and the Cyclones?
All right, so Mississippi State played 1 game, Iowa State 2. Everyone's talking about Iowa State as a Sweet 16 caliber team, maybe, but I'm not buying all the hype here. Mississippi State, I think, is coached well. They have one guy that can light it up, Josh Hubbard, 27 points in the first game, 8 rebounds. averaged 18.9 per game last year. Also, they feature a senior point guard. I like that early in an away game, a neutral site game. Sean Jones Jr. had 7 points and 9 rebounds against Northern Alabama in that win. And then a guy that started at Florida State. Do you remember the name Quincy Ballard, the center?
Mm-hmm.
With Florida State for 2 years, then went to Wichita State for 3 years, averaged 10 points and over 9 rebounds last year. Big-time rim protector. I don't know why they don't get him the ball more. Soft hands. I actually saw him play down here when they played FAU 2 years ago. Very impressed with him. Somehow played every year at least double-digit games. He got a 6th year. So maybe he threatened the NCAA or something. But I just think they have guys at every level here. And neutral site game, I think the line's a little high. Should be 3.5. I'm going to take Mississippi State here, plus the 5.5 against Iowa State. It's going to be my wrong team favored.
Yeah, a lot of good matchups, non-conference to start the season in college basketball, which we'd like to see. A lot of these name conferences facing each other. So see how that one goes tonight. Mississippi State can grab at the cover against Iowa State. Now let's look, Lee, back at the weekend and even going back to Thursday night. The Raiders, they covered against the Broncos, but 7-4 here on the show. Now, we'll start with this. UFC went 2-0, all right? And I'm going to just quickly defer this to you since you are the UFC master. And who are your winners for UFC?
Yours Medic, knockout first round. We'll take that. It was actually, I didn't say anything, but he was actually our big play on the card. We went 3-3, but we took 2 long shot women, big underdogs. They didn't come through. So still, it was really like going, if you were at 4-2, the way we structured it, we do it from 10 to 50 units. Those were the smallest plays. So a very beneficial and winning card again. So we're now, I think we won 17 out of 23 cards. And one of those losses, one of those 6 losses was where the might have been a fixed fight. That was the cause of the potential loss in that card. So Yoris Medic, TKO first round. Joseph Morales, told you about he's a wrestler. He's going to submit his opponent, and sure enough, did it in the first round. 2-0 there.
All right, so there you go. So UFC 2-0. Now let's look back at the college football. It got squeezed on a couple of these games. Arizona, they came back to beat Kansas. That one, they were laying 4.5, won by 4. Colorado had some shots there against West Virginia, getting 6.5, lost by 7. Oregon, they needed that late field. I mean, that wasn't squeezed out. Oregon barely won that game against Iowa in the rain on Saturday afternoon. LSU, they lost by 11, getting 10.5 against Alabama. But the winners, though, Texas A&M, easy over Missouri, Hawaii over San Diego State. And looking at the NFL, we had the 3 games, so you include the Raiders Thursday night. Lions easy against the Commanders on Sunday. That was wire to wire. And so was the Rams against San Francisco. And the Niners made it a little interesting there, but the Rams, you kind of figured after they lost that first matchup to San Francisco, fell behind early. They came out. They looked great. Rams play the Seahawks coming up this week. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But, Lee, your observations from the weekend, a lot going on. I guess I'll start you off with this. Indiana does it again. Unbelievable. Penn State, you thought would have ended the losing streak. It was there. The irony was Penn State was going to beat a top 5 team without James Franklin there. And Indiana goes down, and just an amazing way to end that game, and the Hoosiers remain undefeated.
Great drive. Fernando Mendoza, gets it done. He's probably the Heisman favorite now. Didn't even come close to covering. But I had found out actually for my clients, I have the big clients, we give late releases as far as injuries, weather, things like that. We did actually release Penn State. So we were on it big, and they were plus 14, almost won the game. But 2 catches in that drive. There was one before the end zone catch that was incredible. Top 10 catch, I thought, of the day. And then how that guy got his toe down in the back of the end zone. It's sensational. That's what college football is all about. Also, Texas A&M, easy blowout over Missouri. No question. They're top 2, top 3 team in the country, and they might be the best. I don't think they have a weakness. And then also in the NFL, the Bears, found a way to win 6-3. They have a really difficult schedule, probably the toughest. Probably won't make the playoffs, but 6-3, give them credit. New England 8-2. Who would have thunk it? So they look great. They beat Tampa and dominated them. They were the better team. And then the Rams. No one talks about the Rams. Rams just dominated San Francisco. They're moving on, and they end up playing Seattle this coming week. That's maybe there's 4 great games in the NFL: Philly, Detroit, Kansas City, Denver, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, and the Rams in Seattle. That's for who will have the lead in that in the West, NFC West division. So don't underestimate the Rams. They are that good, almost unstoppable on offense, underrated defense. And then Pittsburgh Steelers, they look awful. Aaron Rodgers looks washed. I mean, second half, one of the most pathetic performances, only 1 interception, but not even close to his receivers. Looks like he's just going through the motions, and maybe it's time for him to hang it up, and maybe Mike Tomlin also. So I have a real tough time. I had the Chargers for my clients, but real tough time back in Pittsburgh going forward. They just look terrible.
Yeah, a couple bad beats to mention, too, from the NFL. If you had the under in the Patriots-Buccaneers game, looked like it was on its way. Baker Mayfield got sacked at the end. Patriots going to run the clock out, and Travion Henderson breaks off like a 70-yard touchdown run. Then Mayfield throws a touchdown pass late. You get 2 late touchdowns to go over the total. And the other game was Jacksonville, that they were in control. That game was over against Houston. No C.J. Stroud. He was out. Davis Mills led this great comeback. And the Texans, they got a late touchdown, too, to get the cover. So for Jacksonville, you got to say to yourself, like, man, in the AFC South, and I get you're behind the Colts, so the Colts are kind of distancing themselves there, but to still make the playoffs, you have a shot, and you blow that game. Now this one's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 2 incredible games endings if you had the total and if you had one side of that Houston-Jacksonville interdivision game. But those are the kind of things that happen. Interdivision. That was a great day of college football in the NFL. Hopefully you had more winners and losers. We did. I think we went for our clients 4-3 on Saturday, all 3 losses for our clients. There was a bunch more games, half-point losses. So, and then we ended up going 4-1 in the NFL on Sunday. Now 31-9, last 40 games, last 8 weeks, 31-9, just 78%. So feeling good about that too.
Yeah, pretty impressive, man. We have a couple of plays coming up for Eagles-Packers tonight. Big one inside the NFC to close out Week 10. Also, we'll get to some NBA, a little more NBA coming up, a hidden gem. That is straight ahead as we got a lot more to get to here on this Monday edition of Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel. That's right. The NFL season, it is continuing. So, of course, the one place you got to go is FanDuel. They have an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And what can you bet on? So many things. First, I want to get to this, though. The MVP odds at FanDuel, they have shifted. No longer is Josh Allen the favorite, but it's Drake May of the Patriots at 3-1, Matthew Stafford of the Rams at 3-1, Jonathan Taylor of the Colts has moved up to 5-1. You have Patrick Mahomes at 6-1, Josh Allen now down to 7-1. So if you maybe want to go there, but a lot of shifting there as far as the MVP odds go at FanDuel. Also, you have so many other things with the AFC champion, the NFC champion. Right now, the Chiefs are the Super Bowl favorite at FanDuel. The Rams are right behind the Eagles as well. And then, of course, tonight you have Eagles-Packers at Lambeau and Green Bay, a 1.5-point favorite against Philadelphia at FanDuel, total of 45.5. So many different things you can bet on with this game. Maybe the quarterback props, passing yards, Jordan Love on the Green Bay side, Jalen Hurts on the Philadelphia side, and also all the weapons out there, Josh Jacobs on the Packers, Saquon Barkley on the Eagles. So all of that you have to choose from. It's limitless right now at FanDuel. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue Locked On Bets here on a Monday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. So now let's go back to the NBA. Very busy Monday, and time now for our Hidden Gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
Hey, we've hit a couple of these underdogs in the NBA since the season started. We had the Jazz against the Celtics. They won outright last week. We had that Hawks Magic game of the opening week in Orlando. So now, if we want to get down and dirty, get the mining helmet on, we're going to take the Washington Wizards tonight. We're going to grab the points with them. They're in Detroit against the Pistons, getting 11.5 points. And I understand Washington's 1-9 straight up and against the spread. Detroit is 8-2 straight up, 7-3 against the spread. But here's what I like about this situation. Detroit's off a big win at Philadelphia last night, won 111-108. Now they are coming home with no rest. After this, their next game against the Chicago Bulls, who blew them out in the season opener. So, Detroit's looking forward to that game. And the Wizards, they've been a double-digit dog plenty this year. Lost by 33 to Cleveland, lost by 29 to Boston, lost by 17 to New York, lost by 19 to Oklahoma City. So they've been in this role plenty and just have not been able to come through off a 6-point loss to Dallas, a struggling Dallas team, back on Saturday. In fact, the only win for Washington came in their second game, which was at Dallas. And I just look at this as a situational spot, fading Detroit. Heavy favorite here. Bulls on deck. Big divisional game. I know Washington has struggled, but let's grab the double-digit points here with the Wizards. So that is my hidden gem, taking Washington tonight plus the points at Detroit.
I'm holding my nose. I'm holding my breath.
You got
Kevin.
to. That's what happens. You got to sometimes.
I'm okay. I'm okay with doing it. So they pay just the same. Games that most people aren't watching are big underdogs. And a lot of times these big underdogs early in the year, they got some fight in them. So I'll take it. Let's run with it.
Yeah. And this is, look, it's a big game for the, obviously for the Pistons with them, trying to compete there in that central division alongside the likes of the Bucks and alongside the Cavaliers. And really, we know that the Pacers, it's funny how the Pacers, how they, went from going to the NBA Finals, and obviously Tyrese Halliburton got hurt to now being one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. So that is one thing that definitely has been a bit of an issue there in the Central Division. Want to bring this one up too before we get to more NFL, Lee. So Brian Daboll fired as coach of the Giants, and it kind of felt like he should have been fired like a year ago. Like he was just hanging around, and the Giants lost that game to the Broncos a few weeks ago with the big lead. They were, it seemed like, in control against Chicago yesterday, and Jackson Dart got hurt. The Bears came back, as you mentioned before, won that game. So now the Giants are like, we're done with you, and Brian Daboll ends up getting fired. How
does their GM? I mean, it's the opposite of the Dolphins. The Dolphins end up firing their GM, and, well, not that Daboll didn't deserve to be fired after yesterday. So they probably got it right. These are probably the right guys in the right order to get fired, but even with the Dolphins winning yesterday against the Bills, which was absolutely shocking in the way they dominated, you got to think that both of these guys, McDaniel and also the Giants GM, are both done as soon as the season's over. So if not, the following year. So, maybe the Dolphins beating the Bills the way they did, maybe he's got a chance if they finish strong and have a winning record the rest of the year. Who knows?
Well, now with Jaden Daniels hurt for Washington, now this game in Spain coming up for the Dolphins against the Commanders, and seeing how Washington got blown out yesterday, I don't see why the Dolphins couldn't win this game on Sunday. I mean, I thought that Stephen Ross was going to leave Mike McDaniel to his own devices in Spain and have him figure out a way to get home on his own if they lost that game. But now they win this game. Like, they have a shot. Like, they could definitely beat Washington on Sunday, and McDaniel all of a sudden doesn't look too bad.
I agree. It's going to be an interesting game.
So we'll see how that one turns out. Interesting game tonight. We got Packers-Eagles. That is straight ahead. We got a couple locks for that game. That is coming up right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Monday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports, and we have reached the point of the Monday night game for our locks. But want to mention this before we get to them, because a couple player props to get to here. If you want to check out the side for this game between Philadelphia and Green Bay, you can find it on our YouTube channel in a little bit. The shorts, you can find that. Lee will have a 1-minute pick on a 1-minute video on his selection between the Packers and Eagles, the side tonight. So stay tuned for that, or at least you could find that on our YouTube channel on Locked On Bets. Check out the shorts. So now, Lee, time for a couple of locks. And guess what? Get to play the video twice. We're going to start with lock number 1.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
All right, Lee, you got 2 locks tonight for this Monday night game between the Eagles and the Packers at Lambeau, and a couple player props. Let's start with, you know what? We're gonna start the opposite way here. We'll go with Luke Musgrave. Okay, we'll start with him. Tyler Kraft is out; he's hurt for the Packers. So Luke Musgrave, he's gonna get an opportunity here. What do you like with his reception prop?
So people think with Kraft out, all of a sudden Luke Musgrave is going to be the guy. Total is 3.5 receptions, under or over. Philly pass rush. Only 16 sacks this season, not like it's been before. Even acquiring maybe an 85% Jalen Phillips, what he used to be with the Dolphins, is not going to all of a sudden make them getting to the quarterback formidable and making Jordan Love have to dump off the ball more, my opinion. Musgrave, 3 catches last week. That's why it's sitting at 3.5 here in their game against Carolina. But he only has 9 catches on the season, only 10 overall targets. You have to, keep in mind a quarterback's mentality. I know through playing the game, if I didn't trust a guy, or if I thought my receivers are better than my tight ends, well, then I'm not going to the tight end much. And that to me is the case. Packers are healthy. Again, at wide receiver, they have Romeo Doubs, 34 catches. Matthew Golden, 23. Christian Watson's back. 6 in 2 games, and then Tavion Wicks, 13 in 6 games. So I think they're going to do a lot of 4 receivers or 3 receivers and 1 tight end, but they'll go to the tight end more. So I think they're also going to use their running backs out of the backfield more, catch the ball. I just don't think Musgrave is the guy. We're going to go under 3.5 receptions, minus 135, level 2 lock.
All right, so that's the first player prop for tonight. And let's go to the second player prop for Eagles Packers.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Jalen Hurts, rushing yards tonight. We'll see what he can do. We know he loves to run the ball. I mean, if Saquon doesn't get it, Hurts is going to run it. So, Lee, what do you like with Jalen Hurts and his rushing yards prop against the Packers?
All right, so the total is 27.5 rushing yards. 8 games this year, 207 rushing yards, works out to 25.88 yards per game. So you're saying, seems about right, maybe a yard and a half high, but we know he's going to get 4 to 5 yards on tush pushes. Big game. This isn't like they're playing, the Saints or Carolina. He's not going to be shy, in my opinion, about running the football. Packers have an absolute fierce pass rush here. Micah Parsons, 6.5 sacks on the year. Rashawn Gary, some people know his name, but he actually has 1 more, 7.5 sacks on the year, and 8 other players with sacks. So I think he's going to be flushed out of the pocket more, and he's going to be more willing to run the football here. We're going over 27.5 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts. Let's go all the way up, level 3 lock.
All right, so Jalen Hurts, we'll see him if he can run all over this Packers defense coming up tonight. And again, the side will be on our YouTube channel under Shorts, so you can find that there for Eagles-Packers tonight. Lee, what do you have besides that for everyone that's interested in Paramount Sports, college football? Another big week up ahead, and NFL Week 11. You mentioned some of the games earlier. Should be pretty huge this week.
Yeah, looking at the UFC card, pay-per-view, looks like we might have a monster selection there, maybe 6 or 7 selections. So check it out Tuesday and Wednesday. Look to the website to get on board there. Get lines early. You want to get the lines before they move. Lines in the UFC move. Sometimes a minus 150 favorite can be minus 200 by the time that the fight starts. Also, football, NFL, we've been dominating, another 4-1 week. And on the Sunday, 31-9 last 40 plays. So last 8 weeks won 31 out of 40 games. So you want to hop on board. It's called Lee's NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. Get 5 selections every single Sunday. 4 weeks, just $197, or through the end of the year, last Sunday in the regular season, January 4th, $347. That's a steal. And like I said, listen, go to the YouTube. Go to youtube.com, like and subscribe to our shorts, and also the podcast. We're going to have a short today. I'm going to break down and predict in less than 60 seconds the winner tonight on this huge Green Bay Philadelphia game. So YouTube, type in Locked On Bets, and you'll click on the shorts and like and subscribe, and you're going to get it quick and easy. And like I said, every day we put up, pretty much every day of the week, at least a short there. And it's a later game, a big game, more ways to win. ParamountSports.com and Locked On Bets.
And also, if you want to hear the podcast as well, you can find us Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, you can find Lee on X at Paramount Sports, myself at Rogers Picks. We'll be back with you coming up on Tuesday to have another huge show, more bets for you, as we have another edition coming up of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.